The boys, we are kicking some ass now, भाई. भाई इंडिया एलिमिनेट हो गई है. तेरे को बताना जरूरी है. भाई रिप्रेजेंट तो करा उतना काफी नहीं है क्या? तो एटलीस्ट देखेंगे तो सही है अपन.
All around for FWE.
Strong side, the attacking side, FW, they look to make the most of it, maximize whatever gains that they can get. As Dispenser, I'm not entirely sure why he wasn't supported there. It's the type of angle you would play when you have one maybe pushing garage aggressively, or we have another player going for a crossfire and backside. Maybe a small lapse in judgment. As taking a quick inspection on minimap, we did see the spread of death on the side of Secret. FWE, they look to take control of this match, at least on this first swing. And Secret, they have a more, honestly, a similar approach. They go for a default, but with pistols in hand, not a lot of utility. What can they really do?
Well, probably not too much. As I mentioned, there's the nice little spread all around the map to get that quick information. Dog use, lots of sprinting from Kahlua, and it's dubstep on the first contact. He's already going to be right in the face of this, but Kahlua's just so quick to try to go for the punish. Just slide in, the easy kill.
Oh,
and that flash supplemented by Tirapong. So good for Kahlua to put the pressure on. It's not done just yet. He is just taking names.
No way.
And he
no
is able
way.
to bypass this Spencer. Yep, the drive-by. It's a thing, and Kahlua is the one handling the steering wheel? The reins. However you want to call it.
You can't do him dirty like that, man. That man slids in your DM and just kind of wreck your face. Not a good look. We've talked about how, or at least the panel has talked about how moody Secret has been. We know their capability, their highs, but I feel like still witnessing a little bit of lows here considering their recent match history. They look to change that. Honestly, they don't have a choice. They have to make that change now. Again, guys, just want to drive home that this is an elimination match. And FWE, they're looking all too eager to destroy their opponents here. We do have a bye, but Jesse Vash can't really use his utility here, banking on Dispenser making contact first. I love the patience from FWE. They do go back and still hold firm on their side of the map.
Now it seems like FWE are looking for any far forward players of Team Secret. That could actually be Wits right now. 3 players just charging outside of A as Wits immediately runs back to his own spawn. As you can see, all of the utilities the Wits had, he has already used up. Flash setup from Dubstep. Excuse me. But nothing will be had. 40 seconds up onto the clock, and FWE setting their sights onto the A. Kahlua still does have the slide, but this is still quite risky for him, especially with the suppress. Their Team Secret are doing a really good job at delaying basically everything from FWE, but the thing is, they're going to incur the wrath of the 5 players, so it's going to depend on how well they can actually play for trades, but not well enough. Just beautiful stuff coming all overall. The overdrive setup for Killua here, and he's going to try to rampage in. Dispenser not hitting the shot. It's all down to Borkum. Is the time now? Is the time nigh? As he is in a 4 versus 1. But look at the weapons from FWE. They have all upgraded. One going around for the big flank. That's going to be Jet Boys. And seems like Borkum, yeah, no chance he's going to be able to get this. So what's going to happen now is stay in the spawn, cheeky little off angle, and just look for the exits or anybody who's going to chase you down. But I was expecting something a little bit more cohesive there from Team Secret, but FWE super solid on the entry.
I honestly feel like we all were. Borkum does get an exit on that cheeky angle. However, it's been exposed. He does get a fight, and he gets a third for himself. But in the battle of thirds, obviously FWE get their better result, getting a third round on the board. Like you said, Team Secret still kind of fumbling on this map. And a lot of us agree that this is a veto that's leaning towards Secret. We've talked about how the game does start in our map picks and bans. But then we get our boots on the ground. It does seem that FWE have a bit of a head start here. Secret have to figure out what's going on. Is it the rhythm that they're playing at? Is this some sort of problem with our defensive layout? Because again, I just feel like it's so hard to have any form of resistance on either side, really. I feel like this is a problem with KO. Yeah, sure, you have your fragmentation and your flash drives, but those are utility that promotes you to move forward.
Yeah. Well, I will argue, though, that moving away from Team Secret, just looking at FWE as a team, really solid support flashes from Tirapong.
Masala dosa bhai, कैसे हो भाई?
100% has
Hyper
got
Gaming
to
bhai, thank
be.
you for commenting bhai.
His guiding lights have really guided Killua to larger heights.
अपनी ranking check करते
Borkum
रहना भाई साहब.
on the contact,
सारे
and,
boy top पे चल रहा भाई अभी.
and he had the
30
nice
के साथ.
idea, but Killua's just really on fire right now. Standard C setup here. Seems like Wits trying to get more damage on, but Killua somehow manages to still survive. The lightning dash, the lightning sprint, a la Hunter x Hunter. As he gets the heal top off from Tirapong. Yep, I know.
Actually, Aserai,
What's
talking about weebs, who is the stronger weeb? Is it Dubstep or is it Killua? As Tirapong gets a beautiful flash, and that's about it. That was interesting. I feel like that's a questionable molly there. I'm not entirely sure what that was trying to achieve. Now they get locked out of sight even quicker. I'm at a loss for words, man. Honestly, help me out here. What is going on? Maybe you have the answers to these questions. Again, the first 4 rounds are not very telling of the entire story. We've seen teams win, or rather lose, these first 2 swings and then come back. But Secret's body language, their player movement, it's just not on par with FWE at the moment.
Yeah, FWE is just, again, playing this up to a certain T. There's nothing too complicated that FWE are doing. Again, it's just a little bit of reaction and rotation, but other than that, it's just been how well, again, Killua has been utilizing the Neon to just bully out certain angles alongside Tirapong. Yeah, you do have the 3 other players that are able to follow up correctly, but I think it's the duo of this Neon and Sky that has really set Team Secret ablaze. In any case, Team Secret back on the buy. Wits has got himself an operator. He's holding hard outside of A just to get that information. That's why Team Secret are actually gravitating towards B and C. Oh, this is going to be actually pretty good. Nobody gets flushed out just yet. Borkum does have a little bit of contact on C Long. Does win the battle. And it seems like this 2-pronged approach from FWE is getting dismantled somewhat. Dubstep starting to heat up.
Ooh.
There's Jit Boys. Could actually probably run for A if he decides to do so. If he just knows that Wits and Borkum are coming right then and there. Oh, the swing. Nice little flank from Borkum. Nice little bait on the Cloudburst by Wits. And that should be at least the first round given to Team Secret.
Maybe that's the caffeine kicking in. It's like, oh, right, guys, we are in an elimination game. But one thing that FWE have been doing, they've been executing their takes with pride, much like the Lions main that they have on their logo. And they've been very succinct. You see the intention. It's very clear. It's very deliberate. Even though they lost that round, I believe that this is something that they'll have to continue, honestly, because we talk about APAC teams, right? The bottom line is
Yeah.
all the teams we have here are good. They made it this far. But we have to really dissect what makes them stand out, because just being good, it's a standard that they have to get it.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's the aggression. Opening up the site for his team as Borkum tries to maneuver himself out of the site. He does fall a step lower, but with his gun in hand, Tirapong still wins the duel. Dubstep does get the trade out as well as the rest of Secret, and suddenly a wild torrent going in the way of Secret absolutely drowns out the rest of the FWE squad.
Looks like Team Secret starting to look a little bit like themselves. I was gonna say as well, Raph, if you might not have noticed, Wits actually dropped the operator the round before that round, just so he can pick up a rifle, I believe, and then he wasn't able to pick it right back up. So that was a really expensive trade of weapon, just so that he can have a little bit more firepower in the, in the retake. But it still somehow works quite well. Now, this is the Team Secret that we kind of expect to see, you know, a lot of bait plays, good synergy with utility. It's not just straightforward for them, and I think they're starting to get into the groove. Maybe it's a start of the day, maybe it's early morning for them technically, but a little bit
It's
of
11 a.m.
Hey man,
Blinded.
some people, they wake up at 12. I'm not one of those people,
I
but
am.
I do know. Anyways, Hunter's Fury,
Right here.
taken by Bash, gets the pick off. It's going to be a bit of a hit and miss as Majesty is down, so FWE here going to have to battle with the rest of the round with only 4 squads, or 4 players to remain. Still, Kahlua and Tirapong are alive. Again, as I mentioned, these two have been such a very powerful tandem, and Wits is already down. That's going to be the signal to go straight up for A, mayhaps. Kahlua. Oh, he spotted. Oh, he cannot get away. Jesse Bash, timing on the recon dart is absolutely sublime, but cannot follow through on Opinia. Dubstep now decides to maybe go for the peek out. Flash. Good for 2, good for 3. Dubstep. Hat-trick comes out from A Long as he comes out to play. Ooh.
That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting
Absolutely.
from Dubstep. And maybe, just maybe, like we said, right? Maybe it might be a slow start for Secrets. But it's been all smoke and mirrors for them. Maybe potentially bamboozling the Lions over at the FWE squad. We have a game here. Now looking much more competitive as maybe the warm-up has finally kicked in us, right? Sometimes, like you mentioned, right? We have some early risers and we have some night owls. And Secrets, their view from the afternoon might be a little better. But now we look at this. As FWE, they look a little more hesitant to take into the site. A little bit of hesitation could be the start of a disaster here, as Wits loves to hold this angle. We know the discipline. Oh my goodness, and we see Tirapong. He was curious, but what happened with Kahlua there? Maybe he was calming. But now he is going to have to take a bit of a back seat as the sharp spear point of FWE gets dismantled, gets destroyed. Secret, they do open with first blood, but they do lose Wits in that exchange.
Placing
Have this set up already with Dubstep and Jesse Vash.
Right here.
Vash might need to pop the shot right now. Oh, okay. Ask actually Dubstep for it so that doesn't give away his positioning. The lockdown utilized. They're gonna have to start charging right in the double swing. And they could actually, I think there's a volley maybe to destroy this lockdown, but they're gonna have to double peek it. But it's not gonna work. All right,
30 seconds left.
that's a big commitment, as now it turns into a 2 versus 3. From still hidden at hell here. He could explode for a really good takedown, and he goes for 1.
One enemy
Now the
remaining.
spike is planted. It's all down to him. Goes in for the swing. But again, there's one behind us, one in front. Not really he can do much there, especially with just Dubstep kneeling right in front of A Short.
The Lions' main, it remains unfrazzled. They keep their composure, and they come back slowly. 3-5, as this game is a little too close to call as of the moment. Like we said, right, where was the support flash? Maybe if Wits had someone just there, maybe a cloudburst. But again, hindsight is 2020. Borkum did get a bit of a bonus off that Spectre. Economy, we'll have to take a quick look. It is at the reset point for Secret. They can employ a few rifles here, a pair on Dispenser and Dubstep, the duo. as they try to open things up for their team, as Wits already going for a bit of a more proactive push. Majesty will delay him, but he has to guess which part of the cloud is he at. Wits might face a firing squad, but this time he escapes successfully, finding Kahlua. He double dips, but he does make a march backwards. He retreats. Maybe trepidation has been set in the side of FWE, as operating on a man disadvantage is gonna give them that much less control, especially with Kahlua, that gap closer, that space maker. And now with Tirapong, that front line has been weakened considerably, and now the back line is starting to take hits. Sorry, Dispenser and Dubstep can't have one without the other, apparently, as Apina is the last person alive, and he will make a valiant effort to resist this Team Secret march.
Speaking of March, Borkum going for the long around flank, and Apina is not going to be able to handle it too much, or even if he did, Dubstep, or rather Jesse Bash, was very near. This is such a spicy little shot from Wits there, and he thought that everybody would just be placing themselves already at the window, maybe going to see. That could have been a really deadly mistake from Wits, if not Dispenser just getting a couple of kills on Garage. Now Team Secret looking to aggress once again, both on window here. Wits, can he get away from the blades? Can he get away from the aggression? Looks like he can, at least for the nick of time, but FWE have already gotten control of the B side. One is in the back of the site. It's going to be Borkum, but he's been spotted by Tirapong. Jesse Bash gets zapped with the finger blaster from Kahlua. And look at this. A spear in the center of the map has just punctured the defense of Team Secret. Dispenser trying to be the hero, but it gets peeked by 3 members of FWE. It's all down to Wits with an operator in hand, but there is the anti-lurk of Jit Boys. It's making a lot of noise. Just Jit knew about this. Oh, looking right in front of him, not in the back. But Spider Sense tingling. Wits, if he is just a tad bit more impatient, he could get knocked out here. Hold the angle, don't look for the frag. And the mission now is just to save the op for the next round.
At the very least, Wits has this operator momentarily, but we see a collapse on his position. Very, very soon, we might see a duel. And if he can find just at least one, it will help his cause immensely. But as I say that, it's him falling from getting shot from behind. Secret, they're still on the back foot here, but the gap is not insurmountable. Meanwhile, FWE, they continue to impress. They've been adapting very well. I think it was the panel who brought up that they are quite reactive as a team, which does have its merits. And we're seeing it come to fruition here in this map.
Yeah. I will say, Raph, there has been no value with op ever since it's been brought out by Wits. A lot of his kills have been turned into rifle and Bladestorm kills, but Operator, I don't think we've ever seen even a single kill with Operator up now. I could be wrong though, but it just feels like that way. In any case, FW always with this bang up an approach. The wall, the fault line, and the kaboom boom that Breach brings to the table. Again, a very massive whiff from Wits. Borkum got the nice HP, but he's got the Spectre in hand, so it's not going to be a nice clutch for him. 4-7, one more round. And FWE, such a leading, commanding approach in this first half.
I think the most obvious thing on the side of Secret right now is that their defense is going really unsupported, or the timing has just been completely disjointed.
Yeah.
With the rounds they've lost, I feel like they've been literally caught off guard here. They tried to go for that swing, the pop and flash, rather the pop flash. Didn't work out as well as they would have wanted. And again, we're here at an impasse, really, another reset point in their economy. They really have to mull over, very close. They do have a bit of a force buy here. Maybe pressing on the issue. Wits gets Jit Boy, as this is the last round. My goodness, did get a little confused here of the half. Dubstep with that Bulldog does have that null command. I feel like this is something that they really had to hinge on just to stop that push. Kind of have to play maybe a little more receded, sorry, maybe play for that retake, right? Because look at the FW, look how oppressive all of that is. The double initiator plus the neon pick and the Astra, which I know you're not a very big fan of.
There.
Yeah, but at least in this map, Astra tends to have a lot more oomph because of the natural layout of the land. Oh, the pop shots from Vash. Massive damage onto Killua here. We'll have to call the heal from Tirapong. And I love this recon dart. Actually bypasses the wall and everything. Vash needs to get a little bit more value on that Guardian of his. Absolutely not. Spencer, though,
Down B.
lights up B site with the Spectre in hand. One more flick, and that's going to be it. 5-7. The first half ended, at least, somehow, somewhat even, I'd say, between the two teams.
Who knows? Maybe this half is gonna take a little bit of a better swing for Secret, because if you looked at how they were trying to defend, they were aggressively wrestling map control away from FWE. But since FWE have such a, I guess, well-adjusted composition just to resist that, it's been that much more difficult. Again, with the Neon, with the speed, the supports, they've been absolutely fantastic. Fragging power has been pretty good on both sides, really. But it's the utility shuffle and how Secret have been dealing with it. It's a bit of a question mark.
Well, FWE have been taking all they want from TS.
Well, it is a bit of a halftime. Again, yet another halftime pause. We like to talk about what are they going to be thinking about, how are they going to approach this. I feel like one of the more intangible things that we have to mention, Asarai, is that the best play to look at is the next one. You know, if you had a bad play in the previous one, whatever, brush it aside. Maybe that's what Secret is going for. Maybe we're looking into the series a little bit too much. It is the first map after all. But what worries a lot of the PH fans and Secret fans specifically is that this is supposedly one of the most dominating maps on the side of Secret. But as of late, it really hasn't been that way.
Yes.
This conversation is going swimmingly.
Absolutely.
What is going on?
Nothing.
It is
Like I was
early.
like I was just pointing out something.
It's fine.
Off. Yeah.
I feel like it really is super early in the day. We too need our maybe to get that caffeine boost, maybe get that extra surge of energy.
Well, speaking of surging energies, Killua has been my favorite player right now to watch in this first game. His ideology with how he approaches the Neon is actually pretty damn good. Entertaining to see and actually effective, and as you can see, really worth the while for FWE. Anyways, two-pronged approach. It's going to be the charge in through C-Long as well as Garage, and the trade's a little bit abundant. Killua already coming from the behind. No dashes or no slides in hand. So it's going to be just him and teammate against the world. Dubstep now corralled through onto position on default, and Majesty just immediately as he peeks out, pops the shot, shoots through the box. And FWE, again, another solid round in the pistol.
I have to say that long pause, man. It kind of got me messed up. Until now, I'm still recovering. But in any case, the FWE squad and the Secret boys, they're still fighting tooth and nail for this. The tug of war is still continuing. Secret, though, I don't know, man, honestly. Still, that long pause, you got me messed up. I'm just going to say that again. You got me messed up. Let's go back to the game, though. Let's refocus. Let's get our heads into it. Secret, now they have a 3-round deficit to take into account. One of these rounds, or at least the more this lead goes up, the more likely they'll force it out. Dispenser tries to get one, and he does successfully. It's Tirapong, but Killua and the rest are so quick on the trade. The classic on the side of Borkum. He gets one, but he does get cornered by the rest of FWE. That's all they get. A brilliant
Dubstep,
eco
though.
still. Dubstep again, who's been rising up to the occasion, but where did Opinia come from? Jesse Vash sitting in his corner here, but does he know Wits is here? Oh, and he goes to try and take and settle the smokes in. Jit Boys now has a task to find these two wonderful gentlemen who's been playing a lot of mind games. He has to sit on this. And Wits is like, you know what?
Wow.
Just relax.
Is he gonna save that Spectre? Oh. Yeah, absolutely. What a cheeky, thrifty round from Team Secret. You don't see that too much, the cheese of the positioning for the post, but I do really much like it. It's an alteration of, you know, dude, let's go to B. You as the jet just dash in, get the plant, or maybe get the plant and dash out, and then they kind of just leave everybody on certain angles that FWE weren't really even expecting. Really, really cheeky stuff. That is something that is a cheese strat that you know Team Secret has prepared for some rounds.
Cheese strats, I don't know if they work, it works.
Well,
Another
if that doesn't
technical
work, then it
pause.
turns into stinky cheese strats.
Well, we have a technical pause here. This morning has not been the smoothest, but everybody is trying to smoothen it out, trying to get those, trying to flatten it. And my goodness. Well, yet another long break, another long silence for me and Asarai. I don't know what's going on, man.
No. We're all good. We're all good. I was just addressing something that you asked a while ago. That was on me. That was on me.
Okay, again, let's recenter, let's refocus. I mean, honestly, there's not much to talk about as of the moment. We've seen just defaults upon defaults here, and maybe Secret overplaying their hand. And again, FWE, they're very, very happy to oblige. Like, oh, you know what? Let's just get down to business. Let's reduce this to the duels. And let's win this step by step, apparently.
I will say, though, again, it is still incredibly close with regards to all the stats that we're seeing right now and the rounds itself. It's been very much back and forth, and we haven't really seen the full extent of FWE on their defense, right? We've seen how really well their offense can be, but that is because if you look at this composition, it does feel quite tailor-made for a quick run and gun, right? You do have the pop flashes, the stun to definitely just supplement all of the blinds that you want for the entry. So how does that, again, translate coming into the defending side when you're going to have to be actually spread apart? FWE, though, at least for this kind of pistol upgrade buy round for them, it is just going to be the possible 3-man push on mid, and then they just back away as soon as Team Secret already knows what's up. Seems like FWE really spreading themselves to go for the flank, but Team Secret are understanding how to go about this. Their second half being a tad bit more crisp. 2 players on spawn. One is going to be on heaven here. The flash onto Tirapong, and he actually still gets dubstep through the blind. Good stuff. A little bit of damage. Nothing exciting overall, but now FWE, they got the benefit of the doubt as they now have access to their gun round.
These last few rounds have been kind of like a Disturbed song. It's been the land of confusion. We saw Pinya get to where he was super quickly, and then we also have Dispenser here anticipating that flank. Again, a beautiful read, but still not entirely sure what the goal was there. Maybe they try to go for a stranglehold that was fairly unorthodox in nature, but Secret, they are masters of these angles. As we have yet another fairly innocuous setup, something fairly common, a quick garage take it seems. They do get rid of that turret, but Jetboy is just here. He is too quick on that trigger, finding everybody. Dispenser is on yet another flag, but FWE, they've been holding strong and they've been looking rock solid.
Not able to clear out that specific little pocket that Jetboys has put himself in. I thought that Wiz was just going to dash into the side to get that quick little information because his teammates would have definitely needed that. It's a little bit too slow how they were kind of charging into the C side compared to, I think, the previous times that they've used it. So Jet Boys had a chance to really mess things up, and he just went the extra mile too, getting that third flick on, I think it was Borkum. Any case now, Team Secret still do have the purchase power. Although, this is, I believe, their last round before they get reset again in terms of economy, and they've already committed a lot of good ultimates in that previous one, while Jet Boys has now gotten access to his lockdown. That being said, Majesty and Kahlua, actually everybody from FWE not far behind from their own ultimates. So this is a really crucial, critical round for Team Secret to get to stop them, to stop FWE from using this to build the lead further.
High priority indeed, as there's a lot of confidence on the side of FWE. If you look closely, they're quite ways away from each other, barring the double initiator setup on B. My goodness, pardon me, guys. But we did see a little bit of a much more compact action as well on to the side of C, but now we've seen Jit Boys being left to his own devices as an attack on A is being mounted. And Kahlua, maybe a little confused which angle he really wants to hold. So far hasn't really caused any reasonable damage. But here we go, the trades are coming in. Secret, they flood in. This is looking fairly dangerous for FWE as Dubstep, still the man of the hour, gets another kill to his name, and Jitboy, who I did mention was all on his lonesome, will also be retiring to that, as he has to save that Vandal. The economy on their side has not been the best on this half. And Secret, they're still on their toes here. But does look like they are much more prepared and much more focused this time around.
True enough. Able to dismantle the defense there. It felt like Kahlua was just so fired up to go for the swing. He was good for the first kill, but again, he had to just manage two angles at the same time, which is short and long, and that spread him a little bit too thin. Unfortunately, not enough to allow his teammates to help him as they were still trying to rotate from the other portions of the map. That being said, FWE, even though they did lose this round, again, they will have a lot of powwow coming into this round 18. As you can see, almost all of them will have ultimates to utilize. That being said, actually Team Secret is also at the podium with a lot of ult economy on their end as well.
8 to 9 as that timer winds down. Maybe tension is rising on both sides here because FWE, they don't look as commanding in comparison to that first swing. Kahlua, he wants to change this, but like I said, the relay ball can really mess you up, but what will mess you up is getting electrocuted, as Borkum could not do anything to resist the hyper mobile Kahlua here. He does go back. I love the discipline again. Dubstep will try to find an opening. He doesn't have his 0 point available to him, but 2 flashes and a fragment is still in his pocket. Apina could find a timing here. He does spot out an enemy player, but he goes for the safer route. As Secret, they want to try their hands again on C, which hasn't been the greatest modicum of success for them, as Majesty still in this corner, which has been the death of them by Jitboy, and this time potentially from the breach, but now 2 fronts is too many to handle as Wits and Jesse, they slice up FWE, and no longer the pride of the Lion is standing tall, but looking a little more bruised now, as a 2v4 retake is in hand. The Seekers have been expended, Asarai, and the lockdown is still here. Is the investment going to be that much more investment? Or rather expensive, my goodness.
This is still really doable for FWE, by the way. They can isolate a couple of fights. Good bait plays overall, and Tirapong manages to explode for 2. He's taken no damage whatsoever, and now he can try to just get the information. I think he saw the shadow of Jesse Bash, and now Jesse gonna have to go away. That blade also making known that Dubstep's presence is actually all the way through C-Long. Tirapong is fully blinded, and that recon dart gives all the information for Jesse to play the situation to an utmost T. This is what we're talking about, man. The split decision from Wits to get that dash in. So crucial, so important for Team Secret to get the entry frag up and going.
Team Secret, they rouse a comeback. They inspire their players as the march, at least the enemies at the gates, they have been amassing. And so far, FWE, they haven't been able to control that They have been resisting, but a sensational performance so far in these last few rounds have really been tipping the scales for Secret. Yet again, they go for a much more aggressive take, but look at all this. The utility that's been winning FWE so many rounds has halted that march yet again. They've come shoulder to shoulder. The relay bolt will miss Dubstep, and a potentially crucial one. Look at this, Tirapong with the patience. He baits out one. Does he get another? Does he get two? No! He runs out of bullets, and Dubstep, he even gets Tirapong at the end. A 3v4, but Dubstep, look how severely injured he is. He'll have to rely on his teammates to make contact for him, or it might be the other way around. As these sheriffs, they look to rather they're looking that much more fatal for Wits and Dubstep, who are tagged up.
Man, that was such a solid, almost approach from Tirapong. Killua did a fantastic job at baiting the angle, as it were. Dubstep is just at the corner. I don't know if he's going to get scouted here at all. Jit Boys is just going to get embraced. There it is. Take a taste of your own medicine, why don't you? And now it's Opinia to remain. Does have the wall, does have a sheriff, but doesn't have the moxie to try to go for this 1 versus 4. I mean, he has to still, because again, he's got to die. Cannot save, or else the cred's not going to go his way for the lost bonus. But maybe it is still possible. There is this 4-man crossfire that Team Secret were able to do. But look at that. Somehow still manages to find Dispenser. But again, the trade is going to be swift.
Somehow his foresight betrays him. They're expecting the swing from hell, but instead he does get cut off from short. And the lead has gone into the way of Secret. Revitalized, re-energized, and reinvigorated. Tirapong could have had the play of his life here, honestly. And you even see a little bit of hesitation on Wits to clear that corner. Again, the Spectre, the humble Spectre, can only do so much.
Yeah, that was a Phantom, right?
If that was a Phantom, they'd be dead. So many moments also
true.
where, if that was a Vandal, if that was a
I
Phantom,
would have hit that shot.
again, gotta focus on that next play, not the last one.
Yeah, c'est la vie.
C'est la vie
That's
indeed.
life.
That's life. I love Frank Sinatra.
That's true.
He's been a puppet, a poet, a pirate, a pawn, and a king. All titles have been bestowed upon all our players here too. FWE, though, that king title remains to be quite elusive for them, as this has been a fairly grueling group, a fairly grueling competition. Jesse's going to send out his precious and his loyal Audro and Asarai. It is going to force out a little bit of utility from Killua, but mobility is still on his side as he does move away and he forces out a duel. The null command is here.
You should
And the only resistance they will have to meet, or they will meet later, is going to be just raw gunfights. But look at this. Another Team Secret special. They lure out so many ultimates. That somewhere else too. And Opinia may have put a wrench in that plan.
This might not look too pretty because they lose the pinch that Dispenser has given his team. Still, though, Wits expecting the Rolling Thunder to come in. It still does not work. Oh, that takedown from Dispenser might have really hurt Team Secret here. And Dubstep, he was making all the noise on spawn on a site with the null command, so he had to go all the way around and not actually boot the team as they try to go for C. You like to play, you love to see it, but again, FWE still somehow, some way manages to figure out what Team Secret were going to do, and we're already halfway there to try to intercept.
I feel like it's one of those moments where less is more. And we already talked about how FWE, they've been very good at capitalizing on Secret's tendency to overplay. Again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because we love to see creativity and innovation. But it is a fairly high stakes match with a lead that's almost negligible as things have been tied up. Wits will initiate first contact here alongside with Dubstep. And now Killua, who tries to get a frag, maybe a change of fortunes here, is forced backwards.
Go, go, go.
Ooh. I wonder what they're going to try to do here now. I might have given the information that 2 is going to be playing on short, but because of the smoke from Opinia, Team Secret can't really push in just yet. You're absolutely right. It feels like they already committed 3 big ultimates for the A side. Why not just push with it? Especially with Dubstep being on the null command, right? He can just be dropped down and you can pick him back up after the trades. Again, it's a gamble, it's a risk, it's a nice play if it works, but if it doesn't, you do see the amount of resources just expended to make that almost play happen, right? Anyways, 30 seconds, Team Secret really riling the clock here. They're gonna supplement the push with the ultimate, but the Cloud Burst just does absolutely nothing. Jerapong somehow still gets hit by the Hunter's Fury, and right behind him, he's actually bought the Fury of Jesse Bash to Killua, exposing him to Dubstep, and somehow they get the A site absolutely perfectly and turns this into a 3 versus 4. Okay, I see you. The best lineup of the shock darts. Just bounce it up, full charge, 2 bounce, it's gonna be good. Judge in the hand of Jit Boys does nothing. But a Pina, lockdown destroyed, and the shock dart is coming in, but he's starting to defuse this. They gotta actually spot him out, and they will in the end.
I really like the calls that Secret make when it comes to just attempting to hit the opposing team with sensory overload, but again, 2 rounds ago, not to harp on it too much, it does kind of backfire on them. But with a lot of bravado, a lot of gusto, they changed that misdirection and they've found quite a bit of success, if not a lot, with that type of mindset. They are a team with a lot of personality, and you can't really blame them to attempt to put on a show here, right?
Yeah.
The job's not done.
Job's not done, although seems like their job is not giving them too much to fall back on in terms of the creds. A weaker buy, and that is going to force FWE to try to be a little bit more proactive on this particular round. Tirapong and Killua trying to make something happen from the sewers, but they are just going to get lost in the waters of it all. Team Secret already having the advantage, already feel confident enough to just go straight marching into the A site. They could go a level higher, and what's that for? Oh, it's for Dubstep's ultimate. Anyways,
1 enemy remaining.
they could go a level higher and just start to chase down the rest of FWE, but it's not really necessary. Dispenser, his senses giving him maybe the leeway to just look straight down at Garage right there, but Jet Boy is going all the way around, only has the shorty in hand. So he's going to be looking for the teeny tiny bit of angle. Dubstep's cleared out the back of the site. And he has no position to actually get closer with this shorty, doesn't he?
No.
Yeah, wow. Just no chance.
That would have been funny. Honestly, that would have been funny.
Match point.
But like you mentioned, the shorty has had its fair share of nerfs. Justified ones. Again, the shotguns have been a problem child of this game. A little bit of salt being thrown your way, folks. Coming from me, of course. It's Himalayan salt. It's pink Himalayan salt, so enjoy it. But I think we have a pause here from FWE. They are at the cusp of dropping this map against Secrets. We've mentioned it many times. This is Secret's series to lose. I feel like the pressure is all on them. But it does look like they're unbothered, even though there have been inconsistent swings, I would say, in their peaks. Dubstep, almost a 30 bomb. I would wager they don't get there. Maybe the match finishes, but if we know FWE, they'll suddenly turn it up and like, aha, overtimes. Maybe 8 again. Have we ever done a game of Secret that didn't go to overtime? I don't think so.
Yeah, every game that we've casted. I think that was for VTPH, right?
It's always been into overtime. Secret, they are, aside from being amazing pro players, they're also entertainers. You know, like, hey
they're
guys,
the
look,
Lord.
we make this as dramatic as possible. I don't know, man. You kind of give us heart attacks sometimes. Sometimes, maybe a little too often.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of cardiac arrest, honestly.
Agreed. We'll say though, FW, I know that they have been a staple as of recent for the Thai scene, but they have been so out there. Great tracking from Jit Boys, by the way. Doesn't expose Opinion's position, so he's also still good for another frag. Not looking too hot for them. Jesse Bash has to push through the smoke so that they can at least bring back Dubstep to life, a la Evanescence. He's still holding the one angle there. Are they going to go rotate all the way around? The relay bolt, as well as the fast lane activated already. Borkum just goes straight up for the fast peak, and now it's turned into the 1v1. Dubstep versus Majesty. Dubstep playing on the back of the site, throwing out the flash, forces back Majesty, but he does have the fault line. Will get stunned, and it's starting to corral onto Dubstep, who still hits the shot. He heard the jump, and all he really needed to do was wait for it. He was dazed, but not dazed enough to lose the fight.
The Halo, it was not meant to show a sign of confusion nor a stun, but because he made Secret, or rather, he saved Secret, the savior the first map. I would not say that was the most convincing performance, but a W nonetheless.
There's Borkum
Oh, here we
with
go
his
again.
cocoa water.
So, sorry, actually, I want to go back on you. Did you ever ask about Borkum's nuts? You know, the cocoa nuts. Did you ever ask?
Oh yeah, he has a lot of nuts, you know?
That'll be $4, baby.
Yeah. 2 liters of cocoa nuts. Just dribbling.
I would wager this
Dripping.
is also a bit of a feeling out process for Secret too. Both these teams not really getting exposed to each other as often as they would want. You know how the matchup goes, but I feel like that's something that the panel would love to discuss. Any closing remarks, Asarai, before we throw it to said beautiful people?
I want to see Killua back on a jet. Would be absolutely magnificent to see that, especially now going on to Icebox. So that's basically it for us. We're gonna, again, throw it to the panel and then go to game number 2. So guys, you know what to do. Stay there and we'll be back.
This is the life I live for God. Taking a step at a time, we going up, we headed to Mars. Taking them chances, making decisions, you know I'm never gonna lie. Till you let go, I'm copying all of them, who you gonna be inside. I cannot fake it, I gotta face it, I gotta do the time. You gotta wait, make for a great pay, make sure you're doing your job. Gotta deal with the patience, 200 every occasion. Going to different locations, how they got when I need some direction. Me and Vinci go up every session. Cook it up, yeah, you know it's no pressure. Yeah, you know how we do what we all in. We can slow up and you never catch us. Working at 9 to 5, I had to go and feed the guys. Nobody did it right, I had to show them how to grind. I had to beat the odds, this is the life I live for God. Taking a step at a time, we going up, we headed to Mars. You know my slimes, I came from the bottom to top. They can define us, they tryna find us. Boy, I know you with the ops. We not the same, no, you can't compare me. I don't belong in the box. Don't try to play me, no, I'm not friendly. This is everything I got. Ain't no playing around, this is no playground. It no matter, I do what I say now. I'ma go give them something to say now.